Hi everyone. I'm Allison Murray Nickel of My Child Is, and thank you for joining me today. So, I don't know about you, but in my area, yesterday was the first day back to school. And it got me thinking about all the little ones starting back to childcare or preschool, or the slightly older ones starting pre-K or maybe kindergarten for the first time. And being a former preschool teacher myself, I was reminded of the fact that so many parents are not aware of some critical facts about preschool and pre-K. And one of those really essential pieces of data is the expulsion rates. So the expulsion rates in pre-K are actually 3 to 4 times higher than the expulsion rates for K-12 students. So 3 and 4-year-olds are getting kicked out of school at 3 to 4 times the rate that kindergartners through 12th graders are getting kicked out of school. So that is 17,000 preschoolers every year kicked out of their preschool or childcare setting. And that alone is a huge number, but even more than that, an even higher rate is suspensions, so being sent home for the day or for several days. And that is even more common, as over 50,000 children every year are suspended from preschool or pre-K programs. And this is extremely unfortunate. And that's even worse, I guess, again, that most people don't know about this. Most parents are not aware. So again, being a former preschool and kindergarten teacher myself, when I think about back to school, I wonder about, is this child ready? And the whole idea of school readiness, kindergarten readiness, is a huge thing to try to consider. But when you think about it in terms of those expulsion and suspension rates, all you can think is that one bad day can lead to being sent home. One meltdown, one outburst, one thing that happens one day that just triggers one of those big disruptive, challenging behaviors. Just one hit, one kick, one bite, sent home. And, for some kids, back to school is exciting and wonderful, and it's all about the new packs of crayons and the new backpack, and it's wonderful to get excited about all of those things. But we need to also think about the real change that's happening, right? It's not just the new stuff and, the new classroom, the new teacher, the new group of kids. All of that is a complete environmental change. So Again, it could be completely new group of peers, new friends, a new teacher or new teachers or adults that are caring for your child. It can be a different room, a different layout of the same room. It could be a different building, a different school or center entirely. And all of those are different relationships that your child will have to negotiate. And so, again, for some kids, that is really exciting. And for some kids, it's really overwhelming. And it can be overstimulating and it can be too much. And for some kids, it can create a lot of anxiety, nervousness, shyness, or withdrawing. And in other kids, it can come out in totally different ways. And for some kids, what's really interesting is that they do really well at first, and then after the novelty wears off, after whatever's new has they've figured it out a little bit, it's become a little old, a week, a few days, maybe a couple weeks. And often that can then be a time when behavior problems start to crop up after things have been going really well. And so it can be really disheartening when that happens for parents and for everyone, teachers and kids too. And that can definitely happen. And then, all the challenging behaviors start to pop up at that point, and then it can be really difficult to try to address them after they have kind of popped up in that way. But again, every kid is different. So even just one incident can lead to suspension. And if that starts to repeat, even a second time for certain things sometimes can lead to expulsion or being kicked out of a program. It depends on the policies and how they choose to enforce it, but I have seen it too often, unfortunately, when a certain challenging behavior becomes a pattern, especially if it's hurting other children. Then oftentimes they have very little tolerance for that. And especially at private childcare centers and preschools, you can be kicked out with no notice. And it's unfortunate, and I don't think anyone likes to do that, but sometimes they feel it's their only option. So it does happen a lot more than people realize. But even more than just, preventing the most hurtful behaviors that, would cause harm to your child or to another child or an adult. Again, this whole idea of readiness, school readiness is huge, and we often think of it as they need to know their alphabet, they need to know how to count, their colors, etc. But it's so much less about the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s, and so much more about those social emotional skills and self-regulation that the child needs to be able to express their feelings calmly. They need to be able to communicate their needs clearly so that the people around them can understand them. And they do need to be able to ask nicely and politely for what they want. They need to be able to wait their turn as well and accept that they're not going to be able to have exactly what they want the entire time being in a group setting. And they need to be able to keep their hands to themselves and or keep their body in their own space, and to listen to others and follow directions. And gosh, that was a lot. How many different aspects is that? It's so many to keep track of, even, let alone to be able to do as a 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old, 6-year-old even. This is a lot to ask. So all of that is what we're expecting of children when we're asking them to be in a group setting. We need them to go with the flow. They have to be able to get along with others in a group for an extended period of time. And in all honesty, a very sad thing is that so many classrooms are not equipped to help children who are having behavior challenges or who are having emotional difficulties or social challenges either. All of these areas are so important, but they take a lot of focus and attention. And so many places just, they are absolutely trying their best, but they just may not have either the knowledge or the number of teachers and staff or the time to really be able to help a child who hasn't already learned a lot of these skills at home. But that's the good thing, is that there are so many strategies that parents can use at home to teach social emotional skills, to work on developing self-regulation. And there are all kinds of routines and activities and stories and songs and words and techniques you can use throughout your day to help start to influence all the behaviors that are going to come out at the other times of day when they're at school, preschool, childcare, wherever it may be. And then also, once you find what's working well for you at home, that can then be information you share with the teachers, with the school, with the staff, and that can help smooth the transition between home and school and help with the behaviors in that way as well. And the great thing about it is that all the families that we work with, that use these social emotional teaching skills, they see their child improve, their child's behaviors improve significantly, and they are able to achieve those outcomes with the behaviors to see their child start to thrive. And I know that all parents want what's best for their children, of course. I know you want what's best for your child. You want them to have the best possible shot at success, the best opportunity to achieve their potential. That is the biggest hope and dream and goal for parents, for their children. And luckily, we know from the research that the most influential factor in determining lifelong academic success, career success, relationship success, just a life success in general. That most important factor is high quality early care and education, and learning those fundamental social and emotional skills from a young age, and learning them through interacting with adults who care about them, that they have a relationship with. So, of course, parents are the first and most important people who can do that for their child. And as the Reggio Emilia schools in Italy, their philosophy is that parents are the first teachers, and the teachers are the second teachers, and the environment is the third teacher. But again, parents are truly the first teachers. And when a classroom or a school or a center is not fully prepared to support a child who needs extra help in the behavioral department, in that domain, then it falls on the parents, as everything does. As parents know, that role is left to them. And again, luckily there are so many techniques and strategies that you can use at home that will influence what happens in the classroom. Unfortunately, you can't control everything that happens there, because that's not up to you, and you're not there 24/7. But again, what you find out and what you share and what you do at home makes such a huge difference. But if you don't start addressing the challenging behaviors now, for any child going into a preschool, childcare, pre-K, kindergarten setting with challenging behaviors, especially ones that tend to result in harm to someone else, there's a high likelihood that they will be sent home or kicked out at some point. And it's sad to say, but it's true. And this, of course, then results in parents missing work. So then you're losing income, you're losing opportunities. And of course, your child is losing opportunities as well. They're losing the opportunities to be with their peers, to be in a group setting, to play, and to be a 4-year-old or however old they are. And then on top of that, we find that often the emotional impact of being sent home, of being kicked out, of being asked not to come back. And again, that often happens abruptly. And so the emotional impact on the child can be intense and can often worsen some of the behaviors and make them even more difficult to resolve. Which is, again, so unfortunate, because it's not the child's fault. They are doing their best. And it's up to the adults around them to support them and to guide them into choosing behaviors that are going to be helpful and safe for everyone. And for some kids, it takes more support than others. And of course, No matter what your child's behaviors look like, your child is unique. They are bright. They are sweet. They have unlimited potential. But it's sad but true that too many children are suspended or expelled unnecessarily from preschool or childcare. And it's unnecessary because it would not have needed to happen if the parents only knew how to teach self-regulation skills at home. Because again, if the teachers are not willing or able or have the time or resources to teach that in the classroom or group setting, then it's up to the parents. And there are so many ways to do it at home, even ways that are actually fun to connect and deepen the connection that you already have with your child. And the great thing is that with our help, parents can create personalized plans, personalized behavior plans for their child that incorporates everyone in the family and what's going on at school and the teachers as well. And the parents can use this plan to work with everyone involved, to benefit everyone involved, and to start reducing and eliminating the most challenging behaviors quickly. So why do we do any of this? Because we love all children. We love your children. We want them to thrive. We want them to be successful. We want them to be happy, just like we want all children to be. And we know from experience that the best way to do that, to achieve that goal, is to help parents be the best parents that they can be. Because parents already do amazing things. They do them every day for their kids, for their family. And sometimes they run into some type of challenge that they are just not yet equipped to handle on their own. They need a little help, just like we all do, just like our kids do. That's part of being human. And so again, we're all about helping parents be the best that they can be and building on their amazing strengths to be even better for their child. So if you want to discuss how we can work together to overcome your preschoolers' most challenging behaviors and give them even more opportunities to thrive, then you can click the link or go to parentingpreschoolers.help/apply to book a call with me. And I'll talk to you soon.